Oh, let's see here. Do 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 do. Oh yeah, way I oughta. Come on. Oh, why can't my old hands type any faster? There we go. Now we just gotta wait for my massive audience to show up. Wait. Hurry up and wait. Come on, everybody. Get on in here. You know, I probably should do one of those preview things where it comes up with a timer like 30 minutes before the show is supposed to start. I really ought to do that, but thing of it is, I'm too lazy to figure out how to do it. I am too lazy to figure out how to do it. I'm just not down for it. I'm sorry. It is what it is. So instead, I just sit here and wait for people to figure out that I'm streaming and show up. Hi, Kat. How's it going? Any day now. What a day, what a day, what a day. What a week it has been. Weather scare after weather scare. It's been a crazy week. Day before yesterday, when you had bad weather all week, then the day before yesterday had a tornado touch down about, 15 miles southwest of here. It was on the ground for about 11 minutes, tore up some empty pasture, and then flitted away. Then another one formed a couple of miles farther south than that. Didn't come anywhere near me. Well, 15 miles is pretty close. And then yesterday, you just had this wall of bad weather that just went southeast right across the whole state of Texas, basically. And everyone else had flooding. They had hurricane-force winds, roofs getting ripped off, baseball-sized hail that's pummeling people's cars, smashing in windows and windshields, and all this kind of thing. Couple of tornadoes touched down yesterday, down southeast corner around the general Houston area. And it came over us. The reddest part of it went right directly over my house. And just this kind of cone of silence developed around my neighborhood, so that all my neighborhood got was the trees blowing like this and some rain. We got no hail. We got no straight line winds. We got nothing. It just kind of was coming full force, and then it just went yoink around my neighborhood and kept going. That's the way it is, man. A lot of prayer involved with that one. Well, I don't care about Grand Theft Auto anyway, Beast Warrior, so whether it gets delayed or not don't mean nothing to me, and I don't play the UFC games. You should know that by now. What am I thinking of Expedition 33 so far? I'm thinking that 8th is enjoying it a lot, because the minute it showed up here, he took it upstairs. That's just the way it goes, man. I don't get the new stuff. I don't get the new hotness. I get to play it after he's done with it. Of course, he's not even here today. He's off with his friends. I am by my lonesome. All by myself. Nobody loves me. Ugh. So we'll be getting going here in just another minute or so. It's going to be mostly an open floor today. No real topic per se. Just whatever y'all want to talk about, so long as it's not politics and religion. Or gross sex stuff. Don't want to talk about that neither. Or not even cool sex stuff. Just games and pop culture and movies and all that. You know the score. You've been on to this rodeo enough times before. You know what the score is. I shouldn't have to explain it again and again and again. No. All right, so it is 6 o'clock Saturday, May 3rd, 2025, and this is the 7thCast. As always, I'm your venerable host, your friendly neighborhood 7th. 8th is staying over with friends down in Georgetown because he don't love me no more. Now, we don't have any real topics tonight, so it's just kind of open mic, you know, as long as it's not safe for work stuff, politics, religion, we can just talk about whatever. Why is the title 2 Tears in a Bucket? Mother F it. That's why. You ain't ever heard that phrase before? Hi, Juggernuts. How goes it, sir? How goes it? Thoughts on Xbox raising prices? You knew it was going to come. They just needed an excuse. Sony will follow suit eventually, but they know that they don't have any new games coming until October anyway, so why piss everybody off by saying they're going to follow suit? They don't have any first-party stuff coming for 6 months. So, of course, they're just going to keep things at $69.99, so everyone thinks they're awesome, even though, hello, they don't have anything to sell at any price, $69.99 or otherwise. There's no motivation or benefit at all to Sony saying, yep, we're bumping it up to 82. They got nothing to sell. So, of course, they're not going to say anything. Microsoft, however, are morons and don't realize that. They got lots of games on the market that's going to piss people off with that price. So they just walked right into their own trap. Unbelievable. When do I think Wolverine's coming out? Who knows? Who knows? Maybe next year. Could have been that it's actually farther along than that, but they just wanted to stay out of Ghost of Yotai's way. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe they've only gotten one level in the title screen done. Who knows? We don't know. Obviously, there's weird things going on over there at Insomniac when they, had all those leaks happen. So, there's some kind, and of course, didn't Ted Price retire or announce his retirement or something? So I'm sure that caused a shake-up too. Days Gone Remastered ain't worth the upgrade to me. For one, it looks the same to me. And two, I already platted it. I have no reason to go back. And yes, I know they added a never-ending horde mode. Who cares? How long before that gets boring? It's not for me, sir. It's not for me. Oh, Sony will definitely increase the price. But, they're going to wait till all the heat dies down. So it makes it look like, everyone else raised their price, so they didn't have a choice. That's why they're not announcing anything right now. That and they don't have any games to sell anyway. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. You know, absorb it, settle on it, accept it. That's what's going on. And I mean, you guys know where I'm at in life right now. I haven't been playing a whole lot in the way of video games anyway. You know what? I actually got to play video games for a couple hours today. You know what I played? A little Zelda clone called Trinity Trigger. That's what I played today. Nothing fancy. Played a little bit of Space Marines 2 last week. Didn't like it. Turned it off, deleted it. I'm sick to death of escort missions, and I'm sick to death of tower defense levels. Where it's like, oh, these objects are being attacked. Please, while we swarm enemies at you, run from one to the other and protect it from attack. Oh, but this one's being attacked. Oh, now this one over here is being attacked. How many times have I seen that in a game? I'm so tired of it. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of escort missions. I'm tired of zombies. I don't want to see that anymore. So here was a game from, modern era. It's true, it was a sequel to a game from the 2000s, but here was a game from modern era, and it's taking me back to that old trope. And, I got down to the last tower, and I'm like, I'm not having fun. I turned it off. Deleted it off my PS5. Have no intention of ever going back to finishing it. Just ain't going to happen. So disappointing. And plus, they take such an emphasis off the guns. It's mostly melee. Most of that game is running around slashing stuff with your chainsaw sword. That's it. Hi, Chris G. How's it going, sir? Now, as y'all know, right now, the thing that we're working towards as far as the donations is the tabletop gaming table for 8th's tabletop room. It costs about $1,000. Has to be shipped over here from the UK. And so far, we have raised a whopping $10 from Melvor last week. So we're only $999 short, or $990 short. So that's what we're working towards. Anything that gets donated today goes towards that. And it's the usual thing. You want to extend the show by an hour, it's $50 per hour. We don't go past 6 hours. So, anything above $150 that gets donated is just a bonus. So, what do y'all want to talk about today? Because I got nothing, folks. I got nothing. Because if it isn't bad enough that, I'm trying to raise this money to buy him that table, guess what happens? Guess. Just guess. Yesterday, all that bad weather was coming, and I got concerned about our cars, the possibility of heavy hail damage. So I told 8th, let's clear the garage out somewhat so we can get the cars in the garage. So we do that, and then we go to start my car. Car's dead. Why? Because the battery died. Why'd the battery die? Because it had probably been a month and a half since I'd actually gotten in the car and drove somewhere. Just is what it is. It just is what it is. That's my life now. I work from home. Everything that I possibly need gets delivered here. Groceries, video games, everything that I possibly would need or desire, short of gasoline, gets delivered here. There's no good movies coming out. There's no reason for me to go to the theater. The retro stores here suck. They're terrible. So there's no reason for me to go there. The mall is dead. All it has in it is a retro store. And that's a store that's not very good. And, 8th is 22 years old and has a social life now. So I don't have my bestest buddy to get out and go around to, thrift stores and flea markets and that kind of thing anymore. Goodwill. So my battery died because I never go anywhere, because I'm trapped in my little castle that I've made for myself. And all of my friends that I would get out and go somewhere with outside of 8th are either always away at work or they live 2 hours away. So, is what it is. It is what it is. So, had to have 8th drive up to the Walmart, buy a battery for my car and a car charger because we didn't have a battery charger for a car. So that was $300 that could have gone towards the table to where I would only then need $700 for the table. And I had to charge it because I didn't have, $300 cash because had just paid the rent. And so I was between checks. I mean, well, there's that in there, but not that I could afford to spend because all of my bills are auto pay. And so my bank account is constantly cycling up and down from money coming in and money going out from the automatic payments of all the different bills that I owe. It's a very complicated system that I've built over the years where I never actually have to go and personally pay a bill. It just takes care of it for me. So there was another $300 that I wasn't anticipating having to spend for a car that I never really drive anyway. And I couldn't even get the insurance cheaper, despite the fact that I literally put less than 20 miles a month on that car. They said the only way I could get cheaper insurance is to switch to liability only. And that's just a no-go. I can't do that. Anyone that does liability only is an idiot. Unless you're driving like a $500 jalopy. But I'm not driving a $500 jalopy. I'm driving a 2016 Challenger that only has 30,000 miles on it. Hi, Psycho Break. How's it going? No, I'm not interested in Marvel's Thunderbolts. At all. Disney has kind of killed my interest in the MCU. Something major would have to come out to turn my opinion around. I mean, I liked Guardians 3 all right. I liked Deadpool and Wolverine, but that wasn't enough to get me interested in the MCU again. All due respect, 7th Space Marines was my favorite game of the year in 2024. Plus, there's different melee weapons you can play with. Well, that's you, man. That's all you. I started playing it, and I was bored by the time I got to that area where you had to protect the transmission towers. I was bored out of my mind. Thoughts on Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf? Yes, I have a thought about that. And that thought is, who the hell is Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf, and why is Bill asking me about these people that I don't know? Thoughts on GTA 6 getting delayed? Don't give a crap because I don't play GTA 6. I don't play GTA, period. Y'all know this. Y'all have known it for years. Come on now. Yeah, bridge burned in MCU. You're darn right. Same thing with Star Wars 2. Don't give a crap about... I haven't watched a single episode of the new season of Andor because I don't care. I don't care anymore. Could not care less. Star Wars is dead to me. Their movies suck. Their shows suck. Their video games suck. I'm just done with it. I'm done with it all. Done with it all. My childhood is dead. It's dead. Physical media is going away. My ability to collect is going away. Good Star Wars movies is long gone. Good Star Wars video games gone. Good Marvel stuff, which was not in my childhood anyway. I was an adult, but you know what I mean. Gone. It's all gone. It's all gone to hell. And it's going to happen to you when you get my age. You just watch. Be prepared for it. Oh, that really burned my nostrils. Oh, I feel like I breathed in too fast after jumping into a swimming pool. Oh, that didn't help. Oh, that hurt. Oh. No, Doom Dark Ages will not be a day one buy for me. Because I don't like I've watched previews of the combat, and I don't like the way the combat's done. I'm not interested in it at all. Skipping that one. I do like what I've seen of the gameplay of Borderlands 4. I don't like what I've seen of the plot and the characters, but the gameplay looks on point. As far as the writing goes, it looks like it's going to be more of the god-awfulness of Borderlands 3. But at least the gameplay will be solid. I'll be able to just skip through the dumbass cutscenes and get straight to the gameplay. At least Revenge of the Sith re-release in theaters did good at the box office. What good does that do me? I've seen that movie a zillion times. I have it digitally. I have via Disney Plus. I can watch it whenever I want. I have it on Blu-ray. You know, maybe that's great for someone who wants to take their, 6 or 7-year-old to see it for the first time. My kid's 22 and is never here. Thoughts on Batman Arkham Knight? Wasn't a fan. Spent too much of it focused on the Batmobile. Revenge of the Sith was good compared to the first two prequels anyway. Some of the acting in that, man. Ooh. Obi-Wan is fine. Samuel Jackson's fine. Ian McDiarmid, fine. But Hayden, man. Hayden and Natalie. Ooh. Not good. Not good. Not good. Great lightsaber fights. Some of the CG has not held up that well. Some of the CG in that movie looks like video game cutscenes now. Some of it. Not all of it. Some of it. I mean, even some of Ian McDiarmid's acting was just really hammy. With that, no, you will die. Some of it's just pure ham and cheese. Will you be playing RoboCop Rogue City Unfinished Business? Yes, I will. I will play it. Because I like that game a lot. It's been one of my favorite games this generation, to be honest. I had a lot of fun with it. There's just something really satisfying about the gunplay. Of being this, towering, overpowered behemoth just plowing through bad guys, spraying brains all over the wall. There's just something very cathartic and enjoyable about it. What about the writing in Borderlands 3 didn't you like? It's stupid. The main villains are YouTube streamers. And they're just as cringy as the real thing. Or Twitch streamers if you prefer. It's a dumb plot with dumb characters. There's not a single new character in that game that comes even close to the leftover shaving of a ball hair on Handsome Jack. Not even close. Handsome Jack's the best character that they've come up with in any of the games. Period. They haven't topped him, and they're not gonna. Meanwhile, it'll please y'all to know that I'm done with Temu. I had stopped purchasing anything from them because I was wanting to save up for this table for 8th. And they were like, for your business with us, we'd like to send you a free gift. Please pick from one of these. And I was like, Oh, look, a live streaming soundboard. Well, I don't really do anything that elaborate, but I could always dabble with that, see what I could get out of it. Maybe replace my Steam Deck with using it instead, and I've got enough room on my desk for another device around this size. No problem. So that's what I picked out. And this is what they sent me. What is this? It's a soundboard for a streaming Smurf. Look at this thing. I mean, I knew Chinese people were small, but good Lord. I didn't think it was like this. Like they're all members of the Lollipop Guild. Look at this thing. Look at it. What am I going to do with this? I can't even read the writing on the buttons. They're so small. I have no idea what to do with this thing. Isn't this hilarious? Look at this thing. Look at it. That's my live streaming soundboard, y'all, from Temu. Lord help. It's like so much of the stuff that, and all that stuff comes from China, Temu. All of it is like small. The shirts are, if you order a shirt from them, order it a size larger than what you need because it's going to be a size too small. If you order a hat from them, be prepared to cut the back of it with scissors because the hat's going to be too small for your head. Everything too small. Unreal. They sell Lego sets on there. You get them, all the Lego bricks are like this big. Small. It's all small. So I'm pretty much done with Temu. Not doing it no more. Nope. Not doing it no more. Seventh, do you ever think about streaming a game? I've tried it before. 12 of you showed up. So what was the point of doing it if none of you were going to watch? I have the equipment to do it. My Polymega here, it's hooked up to stream gameplay through an Elgato. I've got it all hooked up. I can do it. But y'all don't show up when I stream. When I stream directly from my PS5, y'all don't show up. Because I can do that. I don't have a camera that I could do over there because I'd have to have some kind of a stand to run the PS5 camera that's not wireless all the way over to my recliner so I could have it up viewing my face. I don't have a solution for anything like that. So, there is no picture when I stream from the PS5. There's just my voice. And apparently that ain't good enough for y'all. And so that's why you don't see me streaming games that much. Maybe I'll do something when we get the tabletop game room done upstairs. Might do something up there for anyone that, want to watch me and 8th and maybe one of his friends play a board game. Maybe that could be done. And eventually I will do some streaming, but I know what's going to happen. Y'all ain't going to show up. You're not. You know you're not. Thoughts on Silent Hill? I'm not a survival horror guy. That's more 8's thing. I think the last time I spent a significant amount of time on a survival horror game was Carrier on the Dreamcast. And that's because it was the newest release and there wasn't anything else out at the time. So I bought it. And I forced myself to play it just because it's what I had to play. You'd be willing to watch live gameplay of tabletop games? Because let me tell you what, we got plenty. We got plenty. We got something like 40. We got 3 of them just came in this week. See that one? See those right there? One of them is based on BioShock Infinite. One of them is the Ninja Turtles board game from the 80s. And the other one is Bloodborne, the tabletop RPG. 8th wanted it, and so he went and got it. What's with the lack of first-party games? Sony were idiots and blew all their development wad on live service games that flopped before they even got out of the gate. That's what happened. And so now they're behind on everything. Thoughts on Polygon being bought and hit with mass layoffs? I'm surprised that crappy site lasted as long as it did. I'm surprised it lasted past 2015. Site sucked. Sucked just as much as Kotaku currently sucks. I'm surprised that Kotaku lived long enough to report upon the fact that Polygon is toast. And it's pretty much just a brand now. Just a brand that probably wasn't even worth what they paid for it. I don't know. From Bill, I don't know anything about tabletop. Some I'm very fascinated about seeing them, and I remember the Bloodborne table game and the expansions. The expansions are expensive. The game itself ain't that bad. I think 8th got it for $80. It's not that bad. But the expansions, they can get up like $200-300 because they're rarer, more rare. And while he's collecting these, big elaborate RPGs, and not just that, but some of the more mellow stuff like Catan and what was that other one that he picked up recently? He got Catan and what was it? I know it's in here somewhere. Hang on a second. Splendor. He picked up Catan and Splendor. Those are his most 2 recent pickups aside from that Bloodborne there. I'm focused on getting board games from the 70s and 80s. Stuff that I played when I was a kid. Not necessarily role-playing stuff. Now, of course, you have to have your mainstays like Monopoly, Sorry, Clue, that kind of thing, of course. Our Monopoly is Godzilla themed. Our Clue is themed around The Office. It has like Dwight Schrute on the front of the box. Our Sorry is actually classic Sorry. It's a remake of what the original board game looked like. That's the one 8th wanted, and so that's the one we got. We have Scrabble, but it's Harry Potter themed. And then we've got just a whole bunch of 70s and 80s era board games like Bargain Hunter, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one I just showed you, Krull, based on the movie, Dune, based on the 1984 version of Dune, what was Fang Face, based on the old 70s era Scooby-Doo ripoff cartoon where they replaced Scooby with a werewolf. So a bunch of old classic board games like that. I even have a couple from the 90s. I have one based on Hook, the movie Hook. That kind of stuff I go for because it's not even so much that I like to play them. I just like to have them on the shelf just as a piece of history. So, there hasn't been... I kind of took a back seat on retro collecting to help him build up his board game collection and to get that table. And so, y'all want to help out with that, you know what to do. But anyway, Kotaku freaking sucks. The funniest part's when George Kamatani and Hideki Kamiya were making fun of him. Sony focusing more on live service games like Marathon than single player games aren't going to go well. Concord is an example of that. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's already come back to bite them because they haven't, they're getting their butt handed to them by Microsoft of all people right now. And all of the big hype isn't even on the games that Microsoft are releasing. It's on the Switch too. So they're getting it from two directions. There is no hype for Sony right now. None. Because whereas Ghost of Tsushima sold well enough, it wasn't like this massive, super huge hit either, compared to some of the other stuff that they've done. It made money, but it wasn't a Spider-Man. So, I'm looking forward to playing it, but there's a Mask reboot. I don't know anything about no Mask reboot. Hadn't heard anything about that. I mean, that wasn't exactly one of the most popular of the cartoons when I was a kid. It didn't have the staying power of G.I. Joe, Transformers, or Voltron, for that matter. The toys were kind of cool, but the show wasn't as popular. I have it all on DVD back there on the shelf there. Ooh. I know you probably can't see it from back here, but if you look over this shoulder, draped across my futon back there is a Tron throw blanket that I picked up just to drape it over the couch there, the futon. Hook, give us the hook. Yep. There's a Mask board game based on the Jim Carrey movie. But it's one of those weird board games from the 90s where it doesn't actually have a board. It's like you take the cover off the box and there's a piece of cardboard inside the box and that's the board, and then you stick a piece of cardboard on the back that makes a background so you have a little scene. And the board is painted onto that flimsy cardboard thing that's propping the other cardboard pieces up. There's no actual fold-out board to it. I hate that kind of crap. Like there's you guys know I love the 1994 movie The Shadow, even though it's Alec Baldwin. I love that movie. There's a board game of The Shadow. And it's not even that expensive on eBay, but I haven't bought it because it's one of those board games from the 90s that doesn't have a fold-out board. It's just a cardboard box inside the box that you stick pieces of cardboard on. And I hate that crap. Hook on SNES is a good game. Yeah, but I prefer the Sega CD version. It's not quite as colorful, but it has the actual movie score from John Williams. Instead of chiptune music. Ghost of Tsushima might be the best generation closing game of all time. What an elite gaming experience. It was something else, yes. You quit the game because you didn't know how to beat the last boss. I don't even remember it being there being an elaborate last boss fight. I just remember having to fight through a bunch of guys to get to the top of the tower, and then you ended up knocking the guy off the roof of the tower. I don't remember it being all that hard to figure out. What is my thoughts about what? The hell is an ear ape? What are your thoughts about ear apes? What's an ear ape? Are you saying ear, RAPES, as in someone who violates the ears of other people? What are you trying to ask me, Blaze? Yeah, the Sega CD version's cool, Bill. And what are the best upgrades in RoboCop? I don't have any thoughts on that whatsoever, Blaze. I have no thoughts on that, sir. I've never been so inclined. Nor do I have equipment small enough to pull that off. I mean, if that's what does it for you, you know, more power to you. But that's not for me. Are you going to get the Chrono Trigger remake? It depends on how it's done. I mean, I already have the re-release of Chrono Trigger on PS1, which is why, you know, I haven't rushed to pay $300 plus to get it on Super Nintendo. But it depends on how they do the gameplay. Because if they give it the Final Fantasy VII Remake treatment, I mean, that's all right for that. But as Expedition 33 has proven, some things need to stay turn-based. Although, you know, that's doesn't really define Chrono Trigger anyway. But you know what I'm saying. I don't want them messing with the original gameplay formula is what I'm getting at. I'm maybe not doing the best job of it because this has been a week. What is the most annoying video game character of all time? Huh. Trying to think of somebody. I don't know. I don't know that I've ever been like so annoyed by a character that it destroyed my total enjoyment of the game. I mean, yeah, I didn't like the villains in Borderlands 3, but if you think about it, they weren't really in it that much. The first thing that comes to mind for me is the little evil smiley face that chases you around in Venture. I don't remember its name. I want to say Evil Otto, but I think that's the... Isn't Evil Otto the face from... the little happy face from Berserk? Or is that the villain in Venture? I don't remember. I'm old. Chrono Trigger on the DS was $19.99 on Amazon for years. Well, I'm not that big of a DS player. That's more 8th thing. Watch your language in the chat, Chris. You don't want to demonetize me, do you? Remember, I'm trying to earn for that table. Even the cents that I get from AdSense, that goes towards that. So try to not throw F-bombs in the chat and get me demonetized, please. I appreciate it. Do you think Bungie deserves their downfall? Well, I mean, they're the one that's steered their own company in that direction. They got tired of making Halo sequels, so we're going to go live service. So this is where they're at. I tried Thunder Force 4, the Saturn version. I'm surprised with the improvement that game has over its Genesis counterpart. I wasn't aware that they had re-released it on Saturn. I knew that Thunder Force 5 had a Saturn port. Didn't know about 4. No slowdown, sound skip, etc. Thunder Force 3 is still my favorite. And I don't own any of them past 4, so there you go. Too expensive. I'm too focused on the NES library to be buying up a bunch of expensive Saturn games. Because even the imports for it are expensive. The imports for the PS1 version are expensive. I can play them because my Polymega will play Japanese Saturn and PS1 games. That's how I'm able to play Gunner's Heaven, which was never released here in the States. I have the Japanese version. Thunder Force Gold Pack 1 has Thunder Force 2 and 3, and Gold Pack 2 has Arcade and Thunder Force 4. Well, the arcade game ain't anything to scream home about. It's basically it's more or less the Super Nintendo version of Thunder Force 3, Thunder Spirits. The Thunder Force arcade game, or Thunder Force AC, is pretty much more or less there's some differences. It's almost the same as Thunder Spirits. And I don't like Thunder Spirits, so I don't care about the arcade game. For me, the Genesis version, Thunder Force 3, that's the best. That is the best. Hands down! Hands down. And you see, with all these health problems that I've been having with my stomach, one thing that I've learned is that the only type of fast food that I can eat without getting sick, for some reason, are chicken McNuggets and fries from McDonald's. Anything else, hamburger, cheeseburger, taco, pizza, they all set it off and make me sick. But chicken McNuggets and fries, no effect whatsoever. Can eat it all day long. But if I want any, I can't go anywhere because my car is in the garage with a dead battery and 8th is spending the night with his friends. So I would have to DoorDash it, and I don't want to spend $37 on chicken McNuggets and fries because that's what it would cost to have it delivered here. You missed my comment above Bill Bones' comment. Oh no. Anyway, I made a Russian roulette game with Python that when you die, it plays a loud shoot sound and your computer shuts down. Well, all right then. Are you familiar with Demon's Crest for Super Nintendo? Yes. That being said, I do not own it. I have the Demon Whatever 2 for NES, but I don't have Demon's Crest for SNES. I would like to have it, but I'm not buying retro games right now because I'm saving for the table. Thunder Force 3, I enjoyed it more, but I enjoyed Thunder Force 4 as well. That was a debate that me and Alpha Omega Sin had because he prefers the more heavy metal soundtrack of Thunder Force 4, but I prefer Thunder Force 3, both in gameplay and the soundtrack. Yes, Farb, Thunder Force 3 is better than the arcade game. It's not the first time, Farb. Go play Shadow Dancer for the Genesis and then play the arcade version of Shadow Dancer. Oh, Lord. You're in for a rude awakening. And even though the graphics aren't as good, I believe that the NES version of Ninja Gaiden is way more fun than the arcade Ninja Gaiden. We have chicken nuggets at home. Yeah, but that's the thing. Tyson chicken nuggets and all that make me sick. McDonald's chicken McNuggets don't make me sick. Now explain that one. Yes, you can get McDonald's delivered now through Uber Eats or DoorDash, but they're both expensive as hell unless you pay a monthly membership fee. And I'm not going to do that because I don't have fast food delivered that often because I don't eat it that often. Check your physical spam mail. There's always a ton of coupon codes. Whatever. And that what really sucks is, it's better for me health-wise, even though, as you can see, I'm not exactly shedding the weight off by the fact that I'm actually eating healthy. That's not really doing a whole lot. I lost 11 pounds, and then that's as far down as it dropped because my metabolism is crap. I'm eating way healthier than I have in years. The weight's not coming off. But, I miss eating those things because I love crap, I love pizza. I love spaghetti. I love Olive Garden. I love tacos and chicken fajitas and all, Mexican pizza, all that stuff. I love it all. Except for, seafood stuff like Long John Silver's and all that kind of. I can't stand seafood. No chicken sandwiches, no nothing. Can't stand none of it. Shadow Man on N64. I never played it on N64. I played it on Dreamcast. I had it for Dreamcast. And I wasn't that big of a fan because it felt like a game that needed dual analog sticks and didn't have them. Not on those versions anyway. What's the worst home console port from an arcade game? Pac-Man on the 2600. It don't get worse than that, son. You could go for a quesadilla. I could go for a lot of things right now, but I got no way to get them. Because I got no way to go anywhere because I have a car with a dead battery in the garage. Because 8th was going to charge my battery up, and he was like, well, I'm going out tonight. I'll do it Sunday when I get back. So now, I'm kind of craving the nuggets, you see? I got no way to go get any. The only way I got to get any is to have them delivered. And one, that would cost too much. And two, 8th has my debit card on him. So I got no way to go anywhere, and I got no way to buy anything. How you like them apples? And yes, I trust 8th with my debit card. He doesn't buy anything on it without telling me first that he's going to get it or asking me if he can. He's safe to have it. I want some nuggets. Yes, my son left me high and dry. I feel like Dragon's Lair on NES is arguably worse than Pac-Man for 2600. Well, you may be right, but that's not necessarily an adaptation of the arcade game. It's just a different style game entirely with the same characters. Respawn facing layoffs. Well, I don't know how much I believe the whole we were planning Titanfall 3 because Titanfall 2 didn't sell all that well. Hey there, Stevie boy. How's it going? How are things going with you, sir? From Bill. Never really liked that saying. I think it originates from being abandoned after a tidal wave or something. But your IP high to avoid it, I don't know. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Bill. If you had a time machine, what year and month would you go back to for 4 hours only? I'd go back to summer of 1999 when I was banging that red-headed bisexual chick. And I'd bang her some more, and then I'd come home. Responsibility free. I don't know, man. 7th, I went to the dentist last week, and I have to get 5 of my wisdom teeth removed. 5? You only have 4. One up here, one down here, and one down here. How are you getting 5 removed? Up Craps Creek with a turd for a paddle's better. It's 1 a.m. Things are good. Well, good for you. Causing me pain. Yeah, I understand that they're causing you pain. I want to know how you have 5 of them. There's only 4 wisdom teeth. Tempest Rising, best BRTS I've played in 20 years. Haven't played it. You could walk to McDonald's and get the nuggets and then walk back and then you have nuggets. I don't live within walking distance of McDonald's. It would take me hours to get there and hours to get back. And again, he has my debit card. What am I going to do? Tell him to put it on my tab? Boy. Y'all are tossing me some real Emmy Award winners tonight, I swear. Wow. Wow. I know there's DoorDash, but DoorDash costs money, and Nate has my debit card. And even then, because I'm not a DoorDash member, they would charge me out the ass to deliver McDonald's here. We have Just Eat Here same. Okay. Whatever you say there, Chief. Oh. Oh, my contents just shifted. Y'all are getting awful quiet over there. Y'all alive? I am. What movie's that from? Ice cream sundae. Well, that I can't do. Because I'm type 2. I can't have that much sugar. Can't be having that much sugar. Would love to because I love milkshakes. Milkshake and ices are like my 2 favorite cold beverages. Love milkshakes, love ices. Can't have either one. or at least I run a risk if I imbibe in either one. Well, I'm glad to see that, MDZ79. Could have fooled me, son. Lots of your references go over my head. You got a lot of them from before I was born. Which one are you talking about now, Farb? What went over your head? Allow me to edumacate you. Look at y'all trying to make me feel older than I already do. Putting me through all that ageism and humiliation and not even contributing to the table fund. Sounds to me like you need donations so you can get food. Even then, if y'all donated to the little the gray button with the $sign on it, I wouldn't get that tonight anyway. I'd have to wait until a month after that account hits $100 in it. This is the one I'd be able to get tonight. Oh, man. I donated $1 a few streams ago. You did? Last one you did. I don't know what that was. You'd have to tell me. I don't remember everything that came out of my mouth. Or are you talking about, are y'all alive out there? I am. That's from the movie Great Balls of Fire. When the people in the UK find out that Jerry Lee Lewis married his 13-year-old cousin. And so he goes out to do a performance, and then, the building's half empty, and the people that are in there ain't saying a word. And so he walks out and starts playing music for a bit, isn't getting any kind of reaction, and so he's, "Are you alive out there? I am." You uncultured swine. Haven't seen Great Balls of Fire, I tell you what. That's just sad. Sad! I have it on Blu-ray. Bet you didn't even know it was available on Blu-ray. Well, I did, and I bought it. 'Cause it's a good movie. Sits right alongside the Elvis movie and Walk the Line. You got those three, you're in good shape. Now, I watched that new one, that Bob Dylan one. It was interesting, but I wouldn't say it was entertaining. Interesting, not entertaining. When did Great Balls of Fire come out? Somewhere between 1987 and 1989. I don't remember the exact year. I remember I went to see it at the theater with my dad because my dad was a Jerry Lee Lewis fanboy because he went on a 9-month tour with Jerry Lee as his drummer. And so Dad was always talking about Jerry Lee this, Jerry Lee that. So when the movie came out, Dad insisted upon going to see it and wanted me to go with him, so I did. Stars Dennis Quaid as Jerry Lee Lewis. Has a very famous scene where where they tell him that he can't close the show because Chuck Berry has it in his contract that Chuck Berry closes the show. So Jerry Lee goes walking out there, starts playing, sprays a bunch of kerosene into his piano and sets the piano on fire and starts playing this burning piano. Then he walks off stage and looks at Chuck Berry and says, "Follow that, killer," and then leaves him standing there. Very famous scene. Are you familiar with what is considered the oldest board game ever discovered called the Royal Game of Ur? An original game board of that would look nice in your collection for a hefty price. Lol. I'm vaguely familiar with an old Mesopotamian board game. I didn't remember the name of it. Closest thing I have to that is like a movie accurate replica of the Jumanji game. You have to open it up and it's got the little green lens with it looks just like the one from the movie. Closest thing I got to that. Did you like Ray? Oh, Ray Stevens? No. Ray, oh, God. Can't remember the man's last name now. I'm getting old. Ray Charles. It was all right. It was okay. The one that Chadwick Boseman did of James Brown, it was pretty good too. I don't want to bring up spiritual stuff because you say no religion, but what are your thoughts on Ouija boards? They're BS. Ouija boards are BS. There's nothing to be scared of with a Ouija board. It's fake. It's all brain stuff. It's all subconscious crap. Ray Charles. Georgia. I can't do Ray Charles. Five, whatever those are. Bond should get the Japanese Panzer Dragoon Saga. He probably should. I don't know what those are, but I thank you for sending me 5 of them. I'll give you a $1 bill here. Hold on a second here. There you go. $1 bill, y'all. $1 bill. I'm wondering why I didn't get my little pop-up. Didn't get the little donation pop-up with Rimmer. There he is. It was late. Oh, that's a different one. Farb donated $1. Why didn't I get one of those from MDZ? What gives with that? Probably because one is Super Chat and the other one is... that's why. Because Farb donated to the Streamlabs thing. Problem being, it didn't pop on up here where I could read what it said. Let me... from Farb. I'll watch Great Balls of Fire if you play Kingdom Come 2. Well, I guess we're at an impasse because I ain't playing that crap. I'm not gonna do it! Oh, and by the way... 2 hours remaining. MDZ, I don't bother myself with conversion rates because I don't want to bog down the stream trying to figure such things out. So I just do everything by dollars. So if you send me €5, I consider that $5. So we've had $6 in donations. That puts us $44 away from extending the show by 1 hour. We have 2 hours left to go. I didn't see the James Brown one. Maybe I will. I kind of didn't know it existed. Ray I liked. Well, go give it a shot. I like Leave My Woman Alone. Pretty cool tune from the 50s by Ray, but that's about as far as it goes. I'll tell you, one movie I didn't like was the recent one that they did about Little Richard. Because they just went... It's like they tried to focus everything that he was around the years that he spent as gay. And the reason I say that is because Ray Charles flip-flopped back and forth throughout his life about, yes, I'm gay, no, I'm not, I'm bisexual, no, I'm straight, I just had a a dalliance with it. It was a weird thing to watch. But they focus so much of the movie about that as opposed to just his musicianship. And so the movie's not that great. That being said, some of my favorite songs from that era are Little Richard songs. Keep on Knocking But You Can't Come In. Love that song. That's one of my favorite rock and roll songs of all time. Thoughts on the movie Training Day? King Kong Ain't Got Nothing on Me. I'm not that big a fan, to be honest with you. Wasn't that big of a fan. I've never been a fan of corrupt cop movies. Gee, I wonder why. What's your opinion on the Persona series? I'm going to piss some people off. They're not my favorite turn-based series because I find the whole walking around and doing my daily school routine part of it kind of dull. It's like I rush myself through that, picking up enough of the story beats so that I know what's happening so I can get back to fighting monsters. Call me crazy. I'd prefer to play a game that's turn-based where I'm in this wild fantasy realm as opposed to, Japanese school. I've seen that to death in anime, so I've had enough of that, But I love the turn-based gameplay. I just don't like the aspect of it where you're doing all the school stuff and the job stuff. Are you watching The Last of Us? No. I've told y'all. I watched like 15 minutes of the first episode of it and hated it and turned it off. I wasn't a fan of the games. Why would I be a fan of the show? Hogwarts Legacy is different. Hogwarts Legacy, the school sections in Hogwarts Legacy don't play like what you have to do in Persona. I hated Persona because of it, but for some reason I love Yakuza's side mission. I've been playing Hogwarts Legacy since it got added to PlayStation Plus. Did you or Eighth play it? Have it on PS5 physical. I almost platted it. I'm at something like 80 or 90%. I'm just missing a couple of trophies. I got way far in it. Don't even remember which trophies I'm missing, but it's just a couple. I'm way on up there. It has been one of my favorite games of the generation, and I'm not even that big of a fan of the movies or the books. I mainly got into them because my wife, who was, several years younger than me, she was into the Harry Potter books, which I had never read up to that point. So she got me into the movies, and then after I enjoyed the movies, I went back and read the books. What's the best game soundtrack that's not an Elder Scrolls game? Uncharted 3. Beat 3 Persona games. I prefer games like Chrono Trigger. Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah. 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 Rank the Harry Potter. I ain't going to rank the books. I'll rank the movies. Been too long since I read the books. Let's see. From best to worst, or my favorites. Prisoner of Azkaban, number 1. Goblet of Fire, number 2. Chamber of Secrets. Sorcerer's Stone. Deathly Hallows Part 2. Order of the Phoenix. Half-Blood Prince. Deathly Hallows Part 1. That was best to worst. I give worst to Deathly Hallows Part 1 because of how much time you just spend watching them move their tent in the woods from one place to the next. It's boring. It is so boring. Yes, I've played Guardians of the Galaxy. I haven't finished it. And I'm not talking about the Telltale game. I'm talking about the one Square Enix put out. I haven't finished it, but what I played of it, I really liked it. I just got distracted by something else and haven't made my way back to it. I may just start with Persona 5 Royal because there's so many spin-off games of it. We have the Royal version on PS5, yeah. My favorite above all else is Prisoner of Azkaban. That's my absolute favorite. Gary Oldman is fantastic. I love Gary Oldman. And no, I'm not interested in this new Harry Potter show that's coming out. I just have a bad feeling about that one. I could be wrong, but I have a bad feeling about it. Loved Gary in True Romance. That's a movie that can get you in trouble saying that you liked it these days because of the infamous Dennis Hopper scene where he explains his theories about the origins of Sicilians. That scene will get you in a lot of trouble these days. Val Kilmer did an interesting turn as Elvis in that movie. I like True Romance. It's pretty good. It's one of the better Christian Slater movies. Speaking of Gary Oldman, I think Leon the Professional has a better surrogate daughter story than The Last of Us. You're not wrong. I have zero interest in the redoing of The Lord of the Rings. It's literally impossible to one-up the Jackson trilogy. You're not wrong there either. Quentin Tarantino got that story off of a black guy he knew when he was younger and slotted it into the script. That sounds like Tarantino. Sounds like something he'd do. Did you see the announcement that Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff are starting an amateur wrestling promotion? Yeah, I saw that. It's a stupid idea. It's going to flop hard. Only major negative to the Jackson trilogy is that Frodo is such a wimp compared to the books. I mean, to some extent, maybe, but it's not the only interpretation that's gone that way. If you listen to the BBC radio play, he spends a lot of time whining like he does in the movies too. With Samwise constantly having to pick him up by his bootstraps and whatnot. No doubt Disney will remake the original trilogy for modern audiences, so disappointed in all the people who just paid to see Revenge of the Sith in theaters. Well, I mean, going to see that at the theater would be closer to seeing a good Star Wars movie than the previous three Star Wars movies that have made it to the theater. I'm just saying. I was just saying. Do. What y'all think? Mainly talking about the fight scenes. Every fight scene is him falling down and staring in shock at whatever's about to kill him. But in the books, he would at least try. I don't think it's that much of a stretch, but I guess I can see your point. I didn't get much sleep last night. No, I didn't get much sleep last night. Tried to, but I did not succeed. I had maybe 3.5 hours of sleep and then just randomly woke up at like 7:45 this morning. I'm like, oh, why am I awake? Why, Lord, why? You want to see what's possibly the worst controller ever? Retron 5 controller. Good God, son. It is a piece of crap. And you know what's not a piece of crap, though? The Polymega controller. It's a goodie. It's a good one. It's kind of like an 8BitDo. Very similar to an 8BitDo controller. What's your favorite turn-based combat system? Probably somewhere between Final Fantasy 7 and 10. There's things about Final Fantasy 7 I like. There's things about Final Fantasy 10. Otherwise, Dragon Quest. Love the Dragon Quest games. Dragon Quest 11 was the most fun I've had in a turn-based game in a long time. Loved Dragon Quest 11. I never liked the original Genesis pad, and I heard the 5200 was abysmal. The 5200, the problem with it was an analog stick, but the analog stick didn't snap back to center when you were done pushing it. So if you pushed it to the upper right-hand corner, it would stay in the upper right-hand corner, and you'd have to bring it back to center. And they were prone to break easy. It's very difficult to find a PS2 out there with controllers that work. The build quality were really bad. So what you have to do is there's a controller out there that you can buy that you can use instead of a 5200 controller. It looks kind of like a butt plug. You've got like a black base with this red thing sticking up that's the joystick that looks like a butt plug. And then you have to buy this adapter cable so that you can plug it into the 5200 because the connector is not the right shape. So that's one of the ones I don't have. I don't have a 5200. But right now, I could get one, but I'm not going to because 8's gaming table. Yes, I like the Dragon Quest games very much. I'm close to beating Dragon Quest 11. Yeah. What's your opinion on turn-based games where you have to time button presses when fighting? I've not really ever been a big fan of the mechanic for the most part. I'm sure eventually a game will come along that proves me wrong on that. I mean, I think if I remember right, there's a certain element of that to Expedition 33. We'll give it a shot. I know 8th really likes it. I never watched Californication, Chris, because I read the plot synopsis and it didn't sound like something I'd want to watch. You ever get around to playing Sea of Stars? I played a few hours of it and got bored and turned it off. My neck is popping bad tonight. It's popping bad, folks. Popping bad. Bad. Oh. Expedition 33 reminds me of Lost Odyssey. You're not the first person that said that to me. You're not the first person that said that. Alaska Dude, the game crash has been here for a while. It's just moving a lot slower than it did in 83. There's a lot of button pressing in Expedition 33. You can beat the whole game at level 1, which is pretty cool. When was the blank? I don't know, Nick. When was the blank? Thoughts on Dino Crisis? Should have gone farther than how much we got. And the fact that, Capcom has put so much into reviving Resident Evil, but not Dino Crisis. I mean, what's the story there? When was the last barcade you went to? Oh, Lord. I haven't been to a barcade since one of the last Retropaloozas I went to. And I didn't stay long. Because I'm not the night owl that I used to be. Hi, Living Legend. How's it going? How's my back? In pain. But I'm managing it tonight. I'm managing it tonight for you guys. For $6 whole. 7th, I do not think we're in a game crash when GTA 6 is going to sell PS5s. Just watch. You just keep your eyes open. I'm not saying it's the same kind of crash that we had in 83. It's not going to be that kind of crash. You'll see what I'm talking about. Should Red Dead Redemption become a show? That's an idea. That's a good idea. I mean, there has been a resurgence of that kind of thing thanks to Yellowstone and whatnot. So it'd be a good time to bring it out. People are open to Western shows again for the first time in a long time. This is probably the Lonesome Dove miniseries. Has there ever been a story that made you reconsider what you thought about any given topic in the real world? That's a very vague question, Farb, so not that I can think of. I'm trying to contribute by asking questions and keeping the chat moving. I turn my neck like this, and I just hear in my ear, I hear crack, 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 crack. Sounds like crunching a graham cracker. Crunch, 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 crunch. Oh, I'm not as well lit as I usually am. I forgot to turn on my black lights. Hold on a minute. Where is that other switch? Where is it? There we go. Didn't have my black lights on. I was wondering why I'd looked a little darker than usual. I know it wasn't from all the sun I've been getting. No pops. What do you mean no pops, Mike? What are you talking about? I think there should be a AAA crash because Expedition 33 and KCD2 proves that these companies are managed like they pulled off so much with such low budget. Yeah, well, that's why I'm saying this crash won't be the same as 83. In 83, it was independent releases that killed the market because there was no quality control. With this crash, it's the independent market that will potentially save the overall gaming market, at least in the States. Seventh, will there be another golden era? I don't know that there will. I don't know that there will. I'm not seeing it so far. Everything's been kind of stagnant for last 5-6 years. So I don't know. Because, Expedition 33 is great and everything, but it's still a turn-based RPG. We've seen it before. We need new genres. We need out-of-the-box thinking. Things to reinvigorate instead of just repeating. Because that's only going to get us so far. One of those kind of new gaming concepts that you sit down and start to play it, and it's like, why did no one ever think of this before? Why has this not been tried up until now? That's what I'm looking for, and I don't see that happening anytime soon. I hate to say that, but I don't see it. I don't see it. I've never been a fan of GTA. Alaskan dude. Never been a fan. Just doesn't do it for me. Oh. Well, video games have competition. We got 4 different competing platforms. You got PS5, Xbox, Nintendo, and PC. There's Plenty of competition. What you're talking about is first party competition. What do you predict GTA will sell? There's no telling because I have no way of knowing how many times they're going to re-release it. Wonderful 101 was a new concept. Unfortunately, it wasn't a concept that many people embraced, and it flopped. Even when it re-released on PS4, it flopped. Oh well. Should a new company come in like No, we've got enough as it is. We've got enough as it is. Eventually it's all going to be about the content over the platform. Eventually. It may not be next generation. But eventually, buying a new game if you're going to do a console instead of a PC, buying a game console will be the same as walking into a Best Buy and picking out which Blu-ray player you want. They'll all play the same stuff made by different companies under an established accepted format. Kind of like how there was multiple companies that made the 3DO. That's where these companies want everything headed. But even so, I think eventually where it's going to go is just as an online platform like Game Pass. And it's just going to be an app that you download to your smart TV or what have you, and it's all going to be streamed. There won't even be downloading it onto an SSD anymore. It'll all be streamed. That's where ultimately things are heading. It's not going to be there next generation, but it's getting there. We already have it on some level, but they'll hold off on making that the de facto until more people get behind the Game Pass idea and accept it. Mario did it in 85, Samurai, because it was a new concept. It was something people hadn't seen. And plus, Nintendo fooled people, the parents, into buying it because they marketed it as an interactive toy instead of a video game console. $44 short of our extension, y'all. Hello. Y'all want 8th to be able to play his tabletop games up there, don't you? Don't y'all love 8th? Oh, Lord. And once again, the chat dies. Oh, I tell you. I tell you. Nice and sunny out there in Texas today. Sure wasn't like that the rest of this week. Good Lord. Good Lord. This week's weather has been terrible. I feel so fortunate that we didn't get any damage to the house this week. I haven't cared about multiplayer in forever, Alaskan dude. I'm a single player gamer. Every now and again I might hop on and do some online co-op with a friend. That's about it. That's about it. Like this game I'm playing, Trinity Trigger, you can play it online with up to 2 other people, but I don't know anybody else that has it. There isn't anybody on my friends list that has that game. GTA 6 will come with GTA 5 as a bonus game because you will play GTA 5 forever and ever and ever and ever. You can't escape GTA 5. You'll never escape GTA 5. I can escape it because it's been probably 10 years since I put any version of it into a system I own. I think only playing retro games is the move. Well, you're probably not wrong there. I find myself gravitating towards more retro-inspired stuff than the modern gaming these days anyway. Every time I hear about, a Castlevania-like game or a Zelda-like game or a Contra-like game, I rush over to take a look at it and see if it's something I'd like. And I get more excited about those purchases than anything else. Like, my most recent purchase that I was excited about was that Castlevania DS collection that I got the physical for from Limited Run. I haven't even played the new Contra, the Operation Galuga or whatever it's called, because I couldn't find a physical copy of it anywhere. I don't want to pay that much for a digital game. I'd pay that much for a physical copy of it, but I'm not paying that much for a digital game. I'm just not doing it. Especially not one that's just a regular, it's just a retro style run and gun. What's the kind of innovation you'd want to see? Because at a certain point, you can only do so much. Well, I don't know. That's why it's called innovation. Because it gives you something new. A new genre. A new way of interacting. A new way of playing. Oh, no, Alaska dude. I was not a fan of Donkey Kong 64. That's a game that desperately needed 2 analog sticks. The new one on Switch 2 looks interesting. Perhaps I will play it next year. Because I ain't fooling with a Switch 2 this year. Ooh. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Ow. Ow. Y'all aren't very talkative tonight, are you? There's something else going on tonight that's distracting y'all? Some big ball game or something? A wrestling pay-per-view, perhaps? Wah, 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 wah. Oh, man. My knuckles are starting to get worse. They hurt a lot. I meant Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, the one from Wii that they ported over to Switch. I think people are watching the NBA playoffs. Maybe. NBA playoffs, that's a possibility. I didn't think the NBA play. I'm thinking of the finals. The finals are in what, June? Wonder who will voice Mario games going forward. No idea. No idea. The Doom Advance copies went out today, I think, with the embargo. I might get it when it's $20. Did you get a chance to check out Mandragora? No, I did not. I don't have the money to buy it. Saving up for 8th Table. NBA playoffs is what I was thinking. I think the Lakers are on the verge of elimination. Oh, no. Oh, no. I don't care. I haven't cared about the NBA playoffs since Jordan retired. Once Jordan retired, I didn't see a point in watching it anymore, and I still don't. I saw the Mario movie. I didn't think much of it, to be honest with you. I might check it out on Game Pass. I don't like the combat in it. I've watched videos of how the combat works, and I don't like it. I just don't like it. I know 8th will play it on Game Pass. Yes, I know Revenge of the Sith is back in theaters. I don't need to pay to go to a theater to see it. I saw it in the theater in 2005. I've seen it multiple times on DVD, Blu-ray, and now 4K. I don't need to pay to sit in a theater and watch it again. I'm not a sports guy, Bill. I don't watch basketball. I don't watch football. I barely watch wrestling. Certainly don't watch wrestling on a regular basis. I mostly watch like clips of it where people say, "Oh, you got to see this," and send me a clip, and I'll watch the clip of it. That's it. I don't tune into Raw on Netflix. I don't tune into AEW on HBO or whatever channel it's on now. I think it's HBO Max. I just don't. I don't do that. Rank the Star Wars movies. Empire, New Hope, Jedi, Revenge of the Sith, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Force Awakens, Rise of Skywalker, The Last Jedi. And to let you in on a little secret, I liked Solo better than I liked episodes 7, 8, and 9. I'm just saying. Tecmo Bowl or Madden? Back in the day, I would have gone with Madden. Nowadays, I don't give a crap. Well, I don't know. Back in the day, I liked Madden, but I was a Sega guy, so I was mainly playing like Joe Montana. Joe Montana football, Joe Montana sports talk football, etc. All 3 of the sequel movies are crap. Like I said, I prefer Solo over those 3 films. I'm just saying. As much as I dislike The Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones, I'd rather watch either one of those than any of the Disney sequels. But that being said, I preferred Solo over 7, 8, and 9. I preferred it over Rogue One. To me, Solo was an actual fun movie to watch. I had a good time in the theater seeing it, and I've had a good time rewatching it over the years. It's a shame that it bombed, but that's nobody's fault but Disney's. They didn't do a good job of marketing what it was. That's brutal. Thoughts on the Ultimate Warrior? He's dead. And he was a crap wrestler. I, like a bunch of kids from that era, thought that he was exciting when he first showed up. But then you realize that, he gives you a minute and a half in the ring, does the exact same thing every time. He was the Goldberg of his era. Now, Goldberg eventually, evolved and expanded somewhat, and he could cut a promo. Ultimate Warrior never evolved. And his promos made absolutely zero sense. Who was a good wrestler? Bret the Hitman Hart, The Undertaker, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Ric Flair before he became so formulaic and was doing the same match every night. Randy Macho Man Savage, CM Punk, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, Magnum TA, Dusty Rhodes. Would you ever buy one of Star Wars Theory, King Harley Race? Would you ever buy one of Star Wars Theory's China Say? No. What are the best Western RPGs? Well, honestly, I like the big sprawling ones like Skyrim and whatnot. I'm having a little bit of trouble getting into Baldur's Gate 3. It's like I'll start it up and I'll play it for an hour, and I can appreciate the artistry of it, but the storyline and everything's not getting its hooks into me. I'm behind, but have you tried grilled nuggets? You might have a better time with those. Can't say that I've tried grilled nuggets, no. You don't rate The Rock or John Cena. Well, the question was who is a good wrestler, not who is a good sports entertainer. And The Rock and Cena come from that sports entertainment era. That's why I don't really count Steve Austin among them, because he still came from the old school wrestling mentality out of the Sportatorium here in Texas. He was old school, and whereas Rock came up with old school influences, he was more about the new school once he figured out that the old school wasn't getting him over, because he came in as a newest generation babyface, and it wasn't working. And Cena was just Hulk Hogan without the handlebar mustache and more hair. That's all he was. But he wasn't as good on the mic as Hogan was, and that's saying a lot, because Hogan really wasn't that great on the mic. I mean, he was he could get people's excitement up, which is really all that matters, but he was very formulaic. Thoughts on Mass Effect and the Dragon Age series? I loved Mass Effect, but I never finished 3 because I knew going into it, I knew no matter which ending I got, I wasn't going to be satisfied with it. And so, I got to the end game of Mass Effect, and then I just put it down, Mass Effect 3. I beat Mass Effect Andromeda. I thought it was trash, so I'm not enthusiastic about the new one. Dragon Age, probably my favorite one of the bunch, is Inquisition. I was not a fan of Veilguard. I mean, the gameplay was decent, but the characters and the storyline were horrible. I can totally understand why it flopped so hard. And the thing about Bret Hart was he was a guy very old school because of who his father was, who cared about making it look real. You know, he was big on kayfabe. Yeah, his punches were very respectable. When you saw him punch, it looked like he really threw a punch. It looked like it was connecting. You know, when he pulled a move, he performed it in such a way that it looked like it caused a lot of pain. Yeah, he was good at what he did as far as selling the realism. Was he the greatest on the mic? No, but he got the job done. There's a new Mass Effect coming. It's not out yet. Did you know the script for the end of Mass Effect 3 leaked before the game released and everyone thought it was a troll post? Yeah, I know. I was there. I was there when it happened. I'm 50 years old, remember? I was there when it happened. Oh, sure. Sleepy. Maybe that's good. Since I can't go out and get me some nuggets and fries, I'll just fall asleep when the show's over and sleep through the hunger. And just have breakfast in the morning, which my breakfast is 2 scrambled eggs with no butter or anything else in them, and a piece of whole wheat toast. That's what I eat for breakfast every day. And then I don't eat lunch at all, and then I have a dinner. Who do you think that new N7 character is in the teaser for 4? I have no idea. I'm 38, 7th. It's depressing. I was 12 years old when you were born, Chris. Yeah. How much are eggs where you are? I don't remember. I don't pay attention to it. I just put them in the buggy. I just put them in the buggy. I don't pay attention to how much individual items cost. I just pay attention to what the total is when I ring it all up. Because I need it no matter what I'm putting in the cart is the stuff I need, regardless of how much it's going to cost. So the bottom line is all I pay attention to. I mean, we already buy pretty much store brand everything with the exception of soda because 8th will not abide the Walmart or H-E-B brand soda. Not that he drinks a whole lot of soda. The only soda he really seems to like is Baja Blast and root beer. He loves root beer. He was 15 when I was born. I just said, Bill, he likes Baja Blast and he likes root beer. He doesn't drink Dr. Pepper. He doesn't drink Coke or Cherry Coke or Pepsi. He drinks Baja Blast and root beer. Every now he was a regular drinker of energy drinks, but he's gotten off of them lately because he said that they're keeping him up too late. I'm a big fan of Barks root beer. I also liked I can't remember the name of it. The one that's got a dog on the can. I like that one. and A&M or whatever. I liked that one. I've been watching you since 2009. I remember the God of War 3 and Halo 3 reviews. Yeah. Yeah. I got in trouble for that Halo 3 review. People were not happy with me on that one. When it gets to the point where AI is making games, that's... No. Mug root beer. Yeah, Mug's pretty good. But my favorite is Barks. Barks is my favorite. But 8th likes root beer more than I do. This is just unsweetened iced tea. I've never been a big beer drinker either. Neither is 8th. A&W, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, A&W. The one that also had a restaurant that wasn't very good. Yeah, A&W root beer. I like A&W root beer. I like Mug, and I like Barks. A root beer float sounds good right now. Maybe so. Maybe so. I think the funniest brand of beer that ever was Busch beer. Because I don't know if y'all remember this, but when I was a kid, they had commercials for Busch beer. And the jingle at the end of the commercial would say, "Reach for the mountains of Busch beer." And cracked me up every time. When I was like a teenager and I, was old enough to know what Busch was. Reach for the mountains of Busch beer. And the delay was what made it perfect. The delay. They wanted to make you sure you knew in their beer commercial that they were talking about Busch beer, not Bush. Have you or will you try Hulk Hogan Real American? No. I got news for you. I didn't try his spaghetti either back in the day. If it makes you feel old, I watched your Xbox One video when I was younger. Last year, I turned old enough to drink. 7th, Microsoft should sell Rare. They're not doing anything with them. Well, aside from making a lot of money off of Sea of Thieves. No, it was reach for the mountains of Busch because there was mountains on the can. Reach for the mountains of Busch beer. Oh, Lord. I tell you what. Reach for the mountains of Busch beer. I'm just goofing. Yeah. One of the things I discovered recently in looking into expanding our board game collection. Of course, a lot of you aren't old enough to have been around when Wendy's famous Where's the Beef commercials were on the air. There's an actual Where's the Beef board game that has little cartoon versions of the little old lady and stuff. I did not realize that there was that much of a market for that commercial, but apparently there was. I can't tell you the funniest joke I've ever heard, Blaze, because it's not YouTube friendly. I was 13 on Xbox One. Now I'm 25. Mountains are high up versus something that could be lower. Well, I mean, you got the mountains up here, and then you got the bush. Has Sony raised prices yet? Nope. There's no point in them raising prices. They have no games to raise the prices on, not till October. So why would they, piss off a bunch of people by raising prices on something that they don't have to sell to begin with? They're playing it smart right now. I am late. Are you considering playing the upcoming Doom game? No, I am not. Are you boycotting Nintendo and Microsoft that you won't buy any stuff for the current generation? Well, I'm not rushing out to get a Switch 2 this year. I've already bought a Series X years ago, so kind of past that point, Darkstar. And by the way, thank you for the $5. That puts us up to a whopping $11 for the evening. $11. You get a dollar bill. If I can get the dollar bill to work. There we go. You get a dollar bill. Which funny that I mentioned that because we are down to 1 hour left. We are at $11. We are $39 short of a 1 hour extension. We made $10 last week. Looks like we're going to make $11 this week. That'll put us to a whopping $21 towards 8th's gaming table. Thank you, Darkstar, for the $5. Appreciate you. I don't really know any clean jokes, Blaze. I'm sorry. I'm not that. I'm sorry. I don't know any clean jokes. SNES and PS2 are the best consoles. Or they're definitely two of the best. Are you going to buy the next Xbox? Probably not going to be a point. We'll see. What is the worst job you ever had? Telemarketer. I lasted 1 day and I walked. Have you ever used a level editor for a game before? Yeah. Original Doom. Me and my friends would make levels and challenge each other with them. I made a level using the schematics of my high school. Turned my high school into a level in the mod editor. Ghosts of Yote will flop. It's DLC and not continue. Jen's story hurts. Yes, it's beautiful scenery and gameplay is good. Feels like DLC. We need Wolverine PlayStation. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Never can tell. Maybe it'll do good. Maybe it won't. We'll see. $39 away from getting to have my fat butt on here for another hour. What game did you make the level for? Doom. Original Doom on PC. Back in the day, 1993 or whenever it was. Did you publish it online? No. I just, swapped it around to friends on 3.5-inch floppies. There wasn't really online back then, Blaze. The World Wide Web was barely getting started at that point. It barely even existed. Most of the online stuff at that point was still happening on BBSs. BBSs were like tiny little websites that you ran on your local computer, and people had to call your computer on the telephone to connect to it with a modem. And they could play games and chat with each other and download files. Bulletin Board Service, BBS. I'm not getting Ghosts of Yotai, however it's pronounced. Every game now needs caution, which sucks, yeah. The only thing that can save the gaming industry is new console manufacturer with a very strict quality policy. Oh! $5 Canadian from Living Legend. Thank you, sir. That puts us up to $16. Here's another tip to help towards Mandragora, Whispers of the Witch Tree. A solid Symphony of the Night successor. The art direction is stunning. Okay. When I can. Living Legend. When I can. But anyway, that puts us up. Thank you, sir. Let me get you a dollar bill real quick. That gets us up to 16 whole dollars. So we need 34 more dollars. 34 more dollars to keep me on here for another hour. Can we do it, folks? Can we make another $34 in the next 56 minutes? Only time will tell. Where's your cowboy hat? That's why you're not getting donate. No, it's not. Cowboy hat's sitting back there somewhere. Cowboy hat don't have nothing to do with it. The reason I got as much money as I did a few weeks ago was because, I was live streaming Billy from the Game Chasers Whatnot auction, and you guys wanted me to take over his auction and buy up all of his crap. And so that's why I got all those donations, and I did exactly what I said I would do. It's all right, Clean Frame. Did you have a gaming experience where you and your friends raged like crazy? Doom LAN parties back in the day. Doom LAN parties. It's okay. It's okay, Clean Frame. You don't have to be on time every weekend. You can make it up to me. Keep the questions coming, folks. We're at 30 viewers. We're at the highest we've been tonight, with only 54 minutes left and $34 away from buying another hour. 34 more bucks and I have to stay another hour. And then y'all can torture me for another 60 minutes. I had an idea for a video type, but I don't know that I'm going to do it because I don't know how long I could keep it entertaining, not for you guys, but for myself. I thought of doing a video series called The Red Talk, which is basically like a TED Talk, but it's a red talk because it's me and I'm a redneck. And it's just, me voicing my loud ass opinion on just deep dive gaming and pop culture topics where I have to research stuff and, but I don't know that I'm going to do it. I don't know I'm going to do it. I don't know how, if I could keep it entertaining, because it would be kind of a long form format with a different topic each video. So kind of similar to what I did with the Trey for Life vids, but just on a given topic. If you've ever watched The Gaming Historian, something similar to that, only more redneck. What's the dumbest customer you ever encountered? When I was working for Disney, I had somebody call in to the Disney support line, and they wanted to know when the 3 o'clock parade started. Some of you might have to think about that one for a minute. It's kind of insane that I'm playing and enjoying Forza Horizon 5 on PS5. I haven't bought it. I don't need to buy it. It doesn't scratch my Burnout Paradise itch enough to warrant me paying for a physical copy. And I'm certainly not going to buy a digital when I can play it for nothing on Game Pass. I'm seriously considering canceling my Game Pass because I can go weeks without even turning that thing on. I could have been playing Oblivion tonight, but instead, what am I playing? Trinity Trigger. What's that even about? $3:00 parade doesn't ring a bell. Yeah, at Disney World. They wanted to know when the 3:00 parade started at Disney World. When does the 3:00 parade start? $5 from Clean Frame. What's your biggest gripe with video games, not industry-wise? That's kind of broad, Clean Frame. Biggest gripe. I can't think of anything that's not industry-wise, because right now my biggest gripe is the deterioration of the physical media market. How everything's going digital. That's my biggest gripe, and it has been my biggest gripe for 15 years. I appreciate the $5, though. That puts us up to $21. So we are now $29 away from y'all getting to torture me for another hour. So here's your dollar bill, Clean Frame. How much is Game Pass now? It's over $20 a month, unless you've got, got some of those free promotional months or whatever, where you're paying $1 for it. I don't know if that's still going on or not. If they raise it, that'll be, I'll quit. I'll quit it. I don't need it. I can go, literally, I can go months without even turning the Series X on. Exactly, Dark Star. Exactly. Is your 19-year-old son old enough to drink? It's just the way it goes, folks. It's just the way it goes. That's just the way it is. Oh, man. Nick. Oh, man. Look at that. It's after 8 o'clock. The sun still hasn't set. You can still see the light coming in through the window. What's that all about? Do you think this generation of gaming has been a slow and uneventful generation? Yes! Exclusives from Sony have been slow and canceled. Yes! This generation has been pretty crap compared to PS4. And PS3, really, once it got to 2009. Because once PS3 got to 2009, it's like every month there was some new banger coming out. Every month. I don't even know how I afforded that generation at the salary I was at the time. Goodness gracious. But I made it somehow. I made it. Mandragora, Whispers of the Witch Tree. I'll look that up. See how much it is. If you're going 75 miles per hour, how many miles have you gone in an hour? I think that kind of depends on which state you're in. Because in Texas, you can say that you're going 75 miles an hour, but you're really going 80. I've seen idiots claim it is better. Just look at all these good games, despite the fact that good games exist every generation, and that is not the point. Yeah, it's the quantity. We're not talking strictly quality. We're talking quantity too. There have been generations where you got heaping helpings of both. The 8-bit generation, the 16-bit generation, the 32-bit generation. All the way up to this one, and then it started to suck. Last generation was fantastic too. Plenty of games to go around. most of what I buy nowadays are indie games because that's where all the action is. Because this generation sucks. I remember playing Psychonauts 2 on PS4 and having the Xbox spring up on the opening frame made me feel a certain type of way. You know, I meant to buy it on PS4 physically, and I never got around to it. I don't know why, I just never did. I think it's because I ended up beating it on Xbox on Game Pass. Okay, 7th, I gotta go. Okay, Darkstar, thanks for the donation. I appreciate you, sir. I remember a time when digital games were cheaper because of less manufacturing. Now it's barely cheaper than physical. A lot of times it's not cheaper at all. But yeah, I can remember when, digital games were way cheaper, especially because most of the stuff that came out digitally was just, little indie $15 games that, you played them for 2 or 3 hours and they were over with. I don't know, man. I don't know. Farb, 2023 was one of the most consistent years in terms of quality and like a day. I can't agree with you there. Cannot agree with you there. Both PS3 and PS4. It's like every time you turn around, some new hotness coming out. It's evidence in the fact that I've got over 300 PS4 games that I bought physically over the years. I have over 150 PS3 games that I bought over the years. And, I'm getting that size with PS5, but it's not because of all the great PS5 exclusives. It's because of all the physical indie games that I'm buying. Like Iron Meat and stuff like that. Two 2004 was the best gaming year in my opinion. Oh, man. My neck. I'm having some serious neck problems, y'all. I'm trying to be strong for you. I'm trying to rise above it. Oh. I sounded like Goldmember there for a minute. I like a gold. Smelting accident. Your father. Who is your father? Well, that broke. That just fell right out of there. What a piece of crap. No, I ain't worried about it. It's 8th. It's 8th. He'll get by without it. He'll get by without it. I want to hurry up and get all that done up there before doing the game room tour. I want at least 2 out of those 3 bedrooms situated and done. Because right now we keep going back and forth about whether we're going to make the 3rd bedroom his workshop or whether we're going to keep that open for like just more game storage or letting one of his friends rent it and live here for extra income. That's an idea of his that he's floating around. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But I want at least 2 of those 3 bedrooms up there situated before we do the game room tour. Take me back to the late 80s up to about 98. That's not part of the 80s. Did you mean 89? When it was just fun to have friends over playing games late in the night. Yeah. I remember you making a video lambasting Street Fighter V's content. What do you think of the current Street Fighter 6? Haven't played it. Haven't played it. Let me tell you my gripe with video games. It's with difficulty. At the highest difficulty setting, most games only make enemies damage sponges and don't explore anything else. Yeah, it's getting that way. It's definitely getting that way. You know. I don't really think too much about game difficulty these days. Usually I just play it at whatever the default is. Because I'm past the point of caring anymore. It doesn't make it any more fun for me. All it does is stretch the game time out because everything takes a million hits to kill it. And so I just play it at the regular default difficulty. That way I get my fun and I get out and I go to the next thing. I mean, if I cared that much about playing it on the hardest difficulties, I'd have a lot more platinums now than I do. You know, but I'm sitting at like 175 or something because I just don't care about doing that kind of stuff anymore. You know, I did it all right with some of the other stuff like the Infamous games, the Uncharted games, what have you. But with some games, it's just more of an annoyance than it is more entertaining to play it at a harder difficulty because of what you're talking about, Clean Frame. No, I don't really trophy hunt that much anymore. Not that much. I actually did plat Dragon Age the Veilguard and a couple of others recently, but that's about it. You know, I don't go out of my way to get them these days. It's something like that. It's 174 or 175, something like that. I'm a level 571 or something like that on PSN. Something like that. I don't know. It's in the 500s. Which is not really all that impressive, considering that I've been earning trophies since 2008. Hey Max. What's up, 7th? What have you been playing lately? Today I was playing Trinity Trigger on PS5. It's a old school Zelda clone. Only you actually have 3 characters. So you have your primary, and then you have 2 companions that are running around killing stuff with you. It's decent. You know, it's not anything mind-blowing. But, you know, I just felt like playing something old school today, so I popped that in there and played it for a couple of hours. I'll probably play it for a couple of hours more tomorrow because I don't have anything going on tomorrow. I do have a training class for my job that I have to finish by July. July 31st, I think, is my cutoff date. It's a 6-hour class. You know, it's no big deal, but I do need to finish that. Get that out of the way. I don't want that to be something I'm having to finish up last minute. I have some paid time off that I'm taking this month, so that's probably when I'll do it. So I'll do it that weekend when I got 4 days off, and just knock it out 2 hours a day for 3 days. That's probably what I'll do. You know, I would almost be interested in buying a physical copy of Oblivion Remake on PS5 if I thought the whole game was actually on the disc. But I know it won't. It'll have maybe 20 gigs of it on there, and then the rest of it you'll still have to download. Just like with the Indiana Jones physical release. Gaming historian, oil up and hit the gym with me. Yes. You know, Billy always talked about he was going to take one of my lines from the episode that I was in and meme it like that. He never did. And the line being the one where Wood asked me, you holding on to Christmas? Because my Christmas tree was still up. And I said, no, I'm just a lazy fat. He was going to meme that, but he didn't do it. He didn't do it. Stupid Billy. Which, by the way, I accidentally caused a lot of drama on Billy's stream last weekend after I got off of here because Melvor, donated $10. So I went on to Billy's stream when it started up, and I mentioned, I said, I'm in some dire financial straits when I've got Melvor, of all people, donating $10 to me. And Billy acted all jealous of the fact that Melvor had donated $10 to me as opposed to him. And so he calls Melvor on his cell phone live on the stream to gripe at him about the fact that he donated $10 to me. And it went to Melvor's voicemail because Melvor was asleep. And it read out Melvor's cell phone number, the number you're trying to reach, area code blah, blah, blah. It read his cell phone out live on the stream. So Billy doxed him to several hundred people. And so I immediately went to my phone and I messaged Melvor. And I was like, dude, you're about to get a bunch of strange calls and messages because Billy just doxed your phone number on the stream. And that's what happened. And so then it became a 4-way stream with Billy, Chris, Jay, and Melvor going over the stupidity of what had happened. Meanwhile, Billy is getting drunker and drunker and drunker and drunker throughout the stream to the point where he could barely talk by the end of it and almost passed out in front of the camera. All because I mentioned that Melvor donated $10 to me. And because of that, some people felt bad about the fact that Melvor was getting all these calls and chats, and so they started donating to Billy, telling him to give it to Melvor. And Billy ended up with over $300 in donations that night because of this fat MFer right here. Wouldn't have happened if not for me. That's right, Billy. That's right. How did they not get banned for that? Because nobody was going to file a complaint on him because it's Melvor. He's in the family. He's Jay's brother. So they weren't going to do anything to hurt the channel because Billy streams on the main Game Chaser channel. We got 30 minutes left, folks. 30 minutes left. We're $29 short. From Vengeful Cowboy. 7th, I got an idea, and hear me out. Do a stream topless like Rich for Review Tech and watch the donate. No one's going to pay to see my fat ass without a shirt on. They do it ironically with Rich because they're trolls and they think that he still has shame, that he can be humiliated. He's gone past that point. He has no shame left. I have shame and self-respect. I'm not going to stream with any articles of clothing missing. People think black bears are harmless. No, they can mess you up if they're starving or have... Where's this coming from? Where's this... Who the hell brought up black bears? Dub bears. Who brought that up? What are you smoking over there? I mean, I know you're from Alaska, but dude. That's like having a conversation about gaming and me having spent 10 years in Florida saying, well, the real thing about gaming is never run away from an alligator in a straight line. You want to zigzag because their legs can't keep up with you that way. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Like the thing you really have to understand about monthly live service fees is that tarantula hawks in Texas have the second most painful sting on the planet. He didn't intentionally do it, Chris. He wasn't thinking because he was already drunk when he started. And so he's calling Melvor to gripe at him, and he doesn't think about the fact that it reads off the telephone number live into the microphone. He wasn't even aware that he had it on speakerphone yet because that's how far gone he was. Where do you stand on the 100 men versus one gorilla debate? The 100 men are going to kill that gorilla. A few of them might go down for the cause, but in the end, they will win. It's a stupid debate, by the way. I mean, I want you to think about it. Thousands of years ago, it took like 5 men to take down a mammoth. And y'all are arguing 100 versus one gorilla? Really? 4 or 5 men take down a saber-toothed tiger. 100 men against a gorilla? Please. I'm all right. I could do another hour if somebody had, if $29 gets here in the next 30 minutes, I can eke out another hour, no problem. It is 74 degrees here in Texas. Of course, I don't live in South Texas. I live in Central Texas, which means we don't get super blisteringly hot, but we don't typically get snow either. You want snow in Texas, you got to be up around DFW for the most part. Every now and again, you'll get it in Central Texas. Like, we got snow pretty good few years back when I was living down outside Austin. But for the most part, snow usually doesn't make it that far south. Do you sometimes wish you had a time machine to go back 120 years to the Wild West times? No, because those were dangerous, unlawful times. Not safe. Will you be playing Expedition 33 or Oblivion Remake? Well, I got one on Game Pass and the other one physical on PS5. The one physical PS5 is currently up in 8th room because he's the one playing it. If anything, they saw 100 men storming at him, it'd probably scare the crap out of it. Probably so. Probably so. Gorillas aren't stupid. They're primitive, but they're not stupid. Black bears are the best bear. Really? I think gummy bears are the best bear. What you guys say to that? Huh? Want to fight about it? Did you watch Boss Ross bathing then? What are you talking about? What are you smoking? What are you on? It's got some of that Alaskan kush up there. What the, Jesus. The 100 men have guns, they win, and even if they aren't allowed to use guns, they can make traps, they win. You might lose 15 to 20 of them, but they win. Exactly. All it'd take is one of them to get him in the eyes, stab something through its eye, get to that brain. Alaskan dude is something. Wow. Man, man, man. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. There it is. Let me see here. Nothing of interest there. All I'm thinking is if the guys are like Brian Shaw. Okay. All right. Where's 8th? 8th is off with his friends. 8th spends a lot of his off time hanging out with his friends now that he has a car. You know, he don't actually have many friends that live in this area that we moved to. Most of them live south of here in an area called Georgetown. And so he'll drive down there and he'll just stay at their place for the weekend and then come back. Sometimes he's gone 4 or 5 days out of the week, staying at friend's house. Having LAN parties, role-playing game sessions that last all night, that kind of thing. Yep. Yeah, it's not that realistic, QB. It's not that realistic. Perhaps about as realistic as your typical spaghetti western, and that's about as far as it extends. Thoughts on the Triple H versus Rock real-life business drama? I think Rock needs to take a step back and let Triple H do his thing. Triple H has been doing a pretty good job running the show for several years now. Rock has never run the show. He's not a booker. He wouldn't know what he was doing. Did you ever see the YouTube video 100 Hornets versus 100 Bees? No. I did not. Oh, 100 Hornets versus 1,000 Bees. No. I have not watched that video. That is not one that I have sat down and watched. Sorry. Did you like Kevin Costner's new Western film? Yes, but I fear we'll never get the other parts. All of it was set up for things that's supposed to happen in the later films, and I'm doubting we're going to get those later films. So I fear that we got 3 hours of setup and we're never going to get the payoff. Unfortunately. But he's the one that insisted on it being a theatrical release. Should have just made it into a prestige series on HBO Max or something. The Bees lose. Not surprised. Yes. All right, folks, we got 20 minutes left, $29 short of an hour extension. 20-minute warning, folks. Get your questions in, because I don't think the 29 is coming. These comments are flowing like doo-doo butter. Yeah, I don't know. They were going pretty good for most of the show, and then they've just started to taper off. It started to taper off. I don't know. You guys might be getting tired of talking to me. Maybe that's what it is. I don't have any spoiler thoughts on Thunderbolt's Brother Natural because I didn't go watch it. I did not go watch it. Couldn't have gone to see it if I wanted to. And I'm not going to explain that statement because if you wanted to know, you should have showed up on time. No, I will not be picking up Dune. For a while, I thought the 29 was coming. You thought wrong, Chris. It ain't coming. It ain't coming. I'm at work, so I can't constantly ask stupid questions. Ah. Well, that's fine, I guess, but not everybody can have that excuse, QB. Not everybody. I want to message Eighth real quick. What are your thoughts on the Last of Us series? I watched 15 minutes of the first episode and I turned it off and haven't gone back. I hated the games. Why would I like the show? Think about it. If you could have a spin-off game, Red Dead game, would you rather it be Sadie or Dutch? Probably Dutch's younger years. Because I'd want to know how someone that stupid could have still amassed that big of a gang that stuck with him as long as they did, when he was clearly a moron. Will there ever be another video game crash like what happened in the 80s? No, because the market is different. There will be crashes, but they're not going to be the same as... The results and the causes and the methodology of it are not going to be the same. Thoughts on Wolf Amongst Us Season 2 being stuck in development hell for over a decade? Don't care. Wasn't a big fan of The Wolf Amongst Us 1. Was not a fan. What's the movie you were super hyped up for that turned out to be the biggest disappointment? And what's the movie you expected to suck that you ended up loving? I expected Lilo and Stitch to be BS, and I ended up loving it. I was really, really hyped for Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and it ended up being dumb as hell. We need a new Sly Cooper game? Yes, we do, but only one made by Sucker Punch, which is not likely ever going to happen. No, I did not like the first Last of Us game. I said the first Last of Us game was better than the second one. That doesn't mean I liked either one. I hated them both because it's just another survival horror game to me. Are you really questioning why people follow morons? Are you an alien passing by on vacation? Perhaps I am. How would you know? Well, I'm sure, Clean Frame, that whatever his plan was, it would be crap. I'm just wondering how he survived it that long. Do you think Xbox sales will come to a halt? Well, they're not going to skyrocket. We need another Cole McGrath Infamous. Yes, we do. 14 minutes left, folks. 14 minutes left, $29 short. I loved the gameplay of Infamous Second Son. I just didn't care about Delson Rowe at all. Not even the slightest. And I mean, yeah, Cole McGrath was pretty bland in the first game, but they really fleshed him out well in the second one. And so I was looking forward to them bringing him back because one of the endings heavily implied that he was going to come back. If you could have a video game based on you, what genre would it be? It'd probably be a side-scroller. A Ninja Gaiden type thing or a beat-em-up. I'm not interesting enough to be the star of an RPG. Something similar to the Angry Video Game Nerd video game, only not made unnecessarily hard for the lulz. I preferred Skyrim over Oblivion. I liked the story of Skyrim better. I enjoyed the gameplay better. I mean, it was buggier than Oblivion, but just overall, I enjoyed everything about Skyrim more. Now, admittedly, I've only played the Oblivion remake as far as getting out of the dungeon and into the overworld. That's all I've done so far. Because I just rarely ever plug in my Xbox or turn my Series X on. I don't even think I have a charged up controller right now. I'd have to sit and charge a controller before I'd even be able to play it now if I wanted to play it, which I don't. I may buy the physical on PS5 just to play it on PS5 and even though, I know it's still going to end up downloading the majority of it because the majority of the game won't be on the disc. Just to have it. And I'll beat it on PS5 because that's where I have the platinum for Skyrim is on my PlayStation account, not on my Xbox account. Is vanilla Skyrim fun? Well, yeah, because of all the glitches and everything, makes it hilarious. Watching the giants shoot you 2,000 feet in the air with one well-timed club strike. There's all sorts of funny stuff that goes on in that game. I think Xbox will come out with a handheld like the Switch, there's been rumors about that a long time. The game this month in the video game club that I'm in is Chrono Trigger. Do you remember your experience with this game? Well, it was a 7 out of 7, obviously clean frame, and I actually missed it on Super Nintendo. I played it on PS1 as part of one of their Final Fantasy collections on PS1. I never got to play it on Super Nintendo. Hi, Sage J. Which film depicted the concept of the possibility of living in a simulated reality better, The Truman Show or The Matrix? Probably The Truman Show, to be honest with you. It's more feasible. We're down to the last 10 minutes, folks. 10 minutes left, $29 short of the hour extension. I like The Matrix as a movie better than The Truman Show, but as far as like the feasibility of things, The Truman Show could be done in real life for the most part. The Matrix, not so much yet. Uh-oh. Oh, magic powers. Oh, that one stung a little bit. What do you think of Hulk Hogan saying that he and Mike Tyson were supposed to have a match in 1990 at WrestleMania, but it didn't happen because It's BS. It's a bold-faced lie. That's one of the reasons why nobody respects Hogan anymore, because he makes up stuff like that. What is your favorite Jim Carrey movie of all time? Probably be a three-way tie between the original Ace Ventura, the original Dumb and Dumber, and Liar Liar. Those are my three favorites. Mask just slightly eking into fourth place, mainly because while I like that movie, that character is nothing like the character in the comic books at all. A 6-foot walking menace afraid of an actor with a bad tan. Sure, G. Personally, I don't think Mike Tyson today is afraid of Hulk Hogan, let alone 1990 Mike Tyson. You're not wrong. Of course, Hogan, Tyson can still box. And let me tell you something. He threw that match with Jake Paul. He threw that match. Anyone that watched it could see that he threw that match. Uh, but, he can still hold a wrestling match. Hulk Hogan, for the most part, is crippled now. He's crippled from all those leg drops he did, damaging his spine and his hips and his knees. He can barely get around. There ain't nothing to be afraid of. Except for maybe his lawyer. You'd be afraid of that. Yes, that fight was rigged. That fight was a work. It was obviously a work. Tyson had multiple opportunities to where Jake left himself open and Tyson could have dropped him like a bad habit. But instead just kind of stood there with his gloves up, chewing on one of his gloves. He threw that fight. He was just there for the payday. And he knew if he went full bore that he had mopped the floor with Jake Paul. And so he took the money and he treated it like an exhibition bout. $5 minutes left, $29 short. It ain't going to happen tonight, folks. There is not going to be a last-minute savior this time. Not going to happen. Least of all because Max 88 ain't here. He shows up every so often. Like Santa Claus. Yeah, Jeff Hardy's going to be hurting when he reaches my age. And we're talking worse, probably worse than Mick Foley hurting. No, Floyd Mayweather would not have let Jake Paul have a win like that. But I think Tyson is at the point in his life where he just cares about the dollar bills. Because remember, he lost a lot with that divorce and doing time. And so, I'm sure that made him double down and focus on the dollars and the deals that he was making. I'm definitely sure of that. Iced tea. Yum, yum, yum. Well, like I said, 8th is spending the night at Friends down in Georgetown, about 35, 40 miles from here. So I messaged him and I said, so how soon are you going to have my nuggets and fries here? And he replied, tomorrow. Do you prefer the 3-hour streams or the 4 to 6 hour stream? Well, my wallet prefers the 4 to 6 hour streams. My body prefers the 3-hour streams. Right now I'm goal oriented towards getting that table for 8th. So right now I prefer the 4 to 6 hour streams. Because I want to help him. If I could have 10 streams where 10 5-hour streams, that would pay for the table. Because 5 hours is $100. So if I could have 10 5-hour streams in a row, that'd be the money for his table. I'd be set. But that ain't going to happen because we're now down to 2 minutes and we're at $21. Oh. Are you happy with your life? You make just enough to scrape by. You pay the rent, your check is spent. Where did that weekend go? You wasted all your flow, you don't remember where it went, oh no. You're a good fajas. I try to be. I don't always succeed, but I do try. I often do come up short. One minute left. 1 minute left. Well, there we go. It is 9 o'clock. We had $21 in donations. We did not make it to the $50 that would have extended it to 10 o'clock. So this is where Brother Natural. Hold on a second, donation coming. But it's the rules. What are you talking about, donation incoming? Where? I give you 1 minute for this donation. 1 minute. So I'm waiting until 9:01. I'm watching the clock. It's getting close. 60 seconds almost gone, Brother Natural. I'm not falling for that alien magi. You pulled that same one last time. Well, Brother Natural, I don't know, son. I think you're just trying to keep me here longer for free. That's what I think. It certainly looks that way, Brother Natural. It don't take that long to donate, son. Yep. He's trying to troll me. That's all right. Anyway, like I was saying, this is where I'm going to have to leave y'all. So be thinking about what y'all want to talk about a week from now. And y'all just let me know all those wonderful topics the next time you see my glorious 50-year-old face. And I will talk to y'all then. Same 7